Since time immemorial, mainstream society in the United States has, to at least some extent, discriminated against people not conforming with its standards. We should remember that over a century ago, such prejudice occurred even against Europeans. They may be one of the most numerous ethnic groups in America today, but German Americans were subject to it as well, especially during one historical period. Welcome to Melatalks. I'm Winston Melchior, and today I'm talking about anti-German American sentiment during the First World War. Before the First World War, German Americans were seen as a well-integrated and respected people by wider American society. Nonetheless, they preserved their cultural heritage. Numerous German cultural societies were founded. The German language was widely taught in schools. The German-led brewing industry boomed, becoming the fifth largest national industry. By 1910, 9% of the US population had German ancestry. 5 million Germans immigrated during the 19th century, especially to urban centers like Milwaukee, St. Louis, and Cincinnati. But as the First World War progressed, German Americans met increasing suspicion. In 1914, reports that Imperial German soldiers committed atrocities in Belgium struck the United States. The next year, a German submarine sank the ocean liner Lusitania, which was carrying weapons and supplies for Allied forces. But the attack killed 124 Americans along with thousands of other civilians. And to prevent American individuals and firms, like J.P. Morgan, from financing the Allies, German agents carried out sabotage operations in American territory, as with Erich Munter's attack on the US Capitol with bombs. These actions led to a perception of Germans, even those who were civilian US citizens, as a barbaric, warmongering people. Even though German Americans were not politically homogeneous and were only interested in preserving their culture, President Woodrow Wilson claimed that the loyalty of so-called hyphenated Americans was divided, and they may as well all be loyal to the Kaiser. When the US officially entered World War I on April 6, 1917, Wilson declared all people with German ancestry to be alien enemies. In the wake of the Trading with the Enemy Act, German American citizens and their businesses were forced to disclose their bank accounts and property to government officials like A. Mitchell Palmer, the alien property custodian. They also needed to obtain permits to withdraw or transfer from their bank accounts. Anyone who failed to follow these rules, or were opposed to government actions or the war, were imprisoned in internment camps in Georgia, North Carolina, or Utah. In 1918, the Trading with the Enemy Act was amended to allow the confiscation of alien enemies' private assets. The property seized amounted to more than $500 million. Self-proclaimed patriotic societies, like the National Security League and the American Defense Society, forced German Americans and their businesses to prove their loyalty to the United States, whether by flying the American flag, donating to Liberty loans, or overtly supporting the war. Meanwhile, American society attacked many aspects of German culture. German-language newspapers came under legal restriction, switched to English, or closed their operations. Musicians refused to perform pieces from artists like Wagner and Beethoven. Many people and companies faced pressure to change their names, as with a German-American bank in Milwaukee, in order to avoid boycotts. In St. Louis, which had a large German population, Bismarck and Kaiser Streets and Berlin Avenue received name changes. In some cases, German Americans experienced physical violence. German-owned homes, businesses, and churches were vandalized. The patriotic societies harassed those with German ancestry and those who were against the war. Alleged pro-German people were tarred and feathered. On April 4, 1918, an angry mob in Collinsville, Illinois dragged Robert Prager, a German immigrant, out of his jail cell, accusing him of disloyal utterances. They took him to a tree outside the town and hanged him. In the speedy trial that followed, the defendants, wearing red, white, and blue ribbons, were found not guilty for the lynching. Anti-German boycotts and sentiment provided a major boost to the temperance movement, which helped begin Prohibition in 1920. So the discrimination would prove especially difficult for German-American brewers and pub owners.